Hello, dear Nestle. There are people who are screaming out threats to me, in other words, and things like that, implying they know me. Leading up to the Trade Center attack context, in it involved peripherally, criminally, directly, and indirectly with federal criminals who were proven to post dated documents have been shown to a panel of judges in the Ninth Circuit in Manhattan right before the Trade Center attack context. They had been handed in on time. They had been post dated to appear late to the panel of judges in the Ninth Circuit, Manhattan. That's a court with a panel of judges. That was proven after someone had been post dated from Italy to appear late before the judges. It was worse, according with the people from Connecticut Intercampus's first crime acts rolls, foreign and domestic, but also interstate. Crime acts in the form of verbal federal crimes, crimes rolls with evidence reception bodies. So when I describe this, I'm describing the crimes of judges and of their courts and their family members involved with these people. They're pretending, they're making people say overall allegation. They're using the word allegations criminally. They're sequence shifting this way. They are recorded behavior crimes this way. They are using and have used Facebook for crimes there are Russian families and recorded confessed involved with here. These are child sex offenders I'm speaking to you about, Nestle. These are people with crimes with WFSB police. There locations next to them, interbranch offensive evidence reception, federal crimes, also with overt criminal enterprises, people associated with body dumping spots. This is all recorded various ways, especially regarding Facebook. You say, oh, people, they say, oh, this is one of their criminal narratives. They say, oh, you can't say these, you could say this or that on Facebook. These are the laws. What's the law? They're crimes with the ground. If you have a crimes with the ground, you have crimes in cases, criminal uses of federal evidence as crimes, verbal federal crimes, identity theft crime acts, and then you further that online. There's no law that says that's allowed. They have interbranch drug clicks that attach me to fake conversations with judges. Now they had timed ad placements. They have ads sensibilities regarding the behavior and what is right for people to say and stuff like that. Where they're forcing aggression, where they're forcing rape threats, abuses of kids, attaching kids through time, even especially with New Britain Superior Court, other natures of courts through their family members and people associated with them, attaching kids to fake locations into databases, and they exploit that as this is through time, not only intercampuses. This is exploiting each age of fact treatment nature simultaneously, distinctly, and non-distinctly, and simultaneously, methodically, and that keeps a whole bunch of liars juxtaposed formally, juxtaposed a whole bunch of motivations, natures, needs, and interests, and styles of lying in relationship to nature that has been demonstrating negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures since semi-ancient time. Acts like predicate acts involved with it. This is worse than extortion, stealing our identities everywhere we go with the same clicks, sequence shifting with whole groups, opinion natures of pretending people. Then they have to talk about, oh, well, I was saying that because of his behavior online. They're sequence shifting. They have timed ad placements with an IO family. They have timed ad placements with WFSB with their Fox. They've had fake conversation with me. They attach me to fake conversations with others. They attach kids, me as a kid too, and their fake news crime acts. They pretended lies because they did that growing up before they were in courts. A whole bunch of people associated with Brian Silver recorded and confessed involved crimes also with people associated with scuba people. A whole bunch of police forms, everyone's speaking through other. That's used criminally. Then they make opinions. They're incapable with those opinions, and we need mandated law to demonstrate this. But we don't have mandated law because they're behavior crimes rules with what's suitable online and things like that. They're not letting the courts don't have the integrity to do the cases because when you go there, they confess roles with it, they record roles with it, they're forging and switching names. Now, these are a whole bunch of after that proven with the Trade Center attack led up to a 2006 Connecticut case with a whole bunch of names of federal criminals and their family members, foreign and domestic military, leading up to, and in that context too, same ones, crime acts rolls with CCSU. And these are crime acts rules with overt criminal enterprises through time, with offensive evidence reception crime methods. Whole bunch of people associated with the Sclora family stealing my identity, including the Claudia Sclora, who I never had a conversation about. I was in the presence of her. And then we had all these people made confessions tied to her. So they have internation, and then she's tied to the Trade Center attack context people and a whole bunch of people associated with a person that came into my grammar school when I was in fourth grade, but I never had a class with him. I never had a class with him in middle school. They put me in a middle school summer class with him and the cousin of the Sclora, Demora. And there was a girl that they have like sexual circles and things like that, because these are the families that are associated with the policing of like UConn, intercampuses, on off campuses, like all the campuses I went to. They're involved with predicate acts, but they're victims from the victim predators. A former director of the FBI, his co-defendants, a whole bunch of people associated with him, criminal with other agencies as well, and with judges and their family members and everyone who speaks with them. They are long invested to fact check the nature valued by themselves and as themselves, and as you can't defend that and not be lie progressions. Lie progression cover up nature, styles of lying. So we have the narratives of what is good behavior or not used for a science against the actual science of positive, which there are 5 semi-nature of positive that can be demonstrated. I'm being extorted with a whole bunch of natures of industries at once because they're not letting me work out, because I have obligations, because they have identity of the ground relationship to our quality of fact treatment nature involved with identity thefts, where they tell people, oh, let's ignore that. But then other times, then they're making opinions about it. Then don't make opinions about me online. We have interbranch family members that use their kids to hide their lie progressions because they invested themselves to lie progressions. They invested themselves with criminal uses of a former governor of Connecticut, Governor Roland Malloy. Please fix the fake news. I never had a conversation with you. They lied to you, the Wethersfield parents. FBI criminally involved with you, from former director of the FBI all the way down, criminally involved with a whole bunch of names at New Britain Superior Court, involved through time, crimes attaching kids to fake locations, fake relationships to others. They have behavior crime methods like pretending, oh, these persons not even sorry about what they did. They make up what they did. They're pretending recorded things in the databases. They have not been following the law and the Constitution. They have been maintaining sub rosa criminally foreign influence precedents, criminally foreign influence uses of databases, and then tied to that, valued uses of everyone using that for a method. They're exploiting the health and the time treatments and needs for people to have regular interactions. We have criminally foreign influence, all private, all intersciences, intercampuses of all natures of them, interbranch, intermilitary, juxtapose crimes with other nations' military, like Kuwait. Repeated to me for me to have a reaction. Here's my reaction. These are crimes with deans also, like a Dean Keyes. Nothing personal up against them. They needing to make people seem like they have fights because the various natures of courts and on and off their state judicial branch offices are are recorded already having used people criminally to pretend to receive things. These are offensive evidence perception predators or associated with the crime method that used black and white when it was Australian, and still to date they worse than have forsaken their obligations to make understood how they had those slavery crime laws against everyone, even, and then how they have that the narrative of slavery, everyone not allowed to talk about it, to call that slavery. What's worse, and all exceptions exploited, not by accident. This is an organized crime method against exception nature. Exception nature is like, for example, sequence nature is exception nature, and criminal insidiousness needs to make positive out of negative distinctly from nature that has no criminal foreign influences. See, we have this legalized states and areas. Smile, oh, you can't sue the government. So follow mandated law. Personally, they're involved criminally with former director of the FBI, various natures of courts, and their family members. Whole bunch of their crimes with a whole bunch of medical doctors, like a Leahy family, forged names, had conversation, fake conversations with me that weren't at all. I had one word with him. I said, "Yeah." I was obligated to do that because of the crime method he was using, already recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Crime acts roles with a whole bunch of people associated with the Dillon family, further involved with further child offenders associated with my new and past neighbors. And they have their kids involved with this. And they have various natures of courts involved with offensive evidence crimes. People with Sandy Hook, families associated, there's a prison there.